Hey, how's it going? So glad that you're here with me. Hope that you're having a fun summer. We're having a lot of fun around here. We've been swimming and hiking and traveling, working a ton in the yard and at the hospital and in my business. So life is just so crazy and busy, but it's so good, right? So in this week's video, I want to touch on a phenomenon that I've learned about and observed in my clients, my friends, and in myself that they call in Bright Line Eating. I've heard it called post-event collapse. And I've also heard it called reentry. And what this is referring to is how after big events, people can really struggle staying on their weight loss plan after the event. So, when you're gearing up for a vacation or a big event like a holiday or a party, well, if you're like me and many of my friends and have struggled in the past with food and weight issues and are now living a life free from sugar and flour, we have to really plan ahead and prepare ourselves mentally for that event because in our world there is sugar and flour everywhere. There are well-meaning food pushers, and there are triggers that just can't be avoided, and emotions, all of it. So I love to prepare myself mentally before an event like that so that I can stay on my plan no matter where I am in the world or who I'm with, because I've made my sugar and flour-free lifestyle part of my identity. And that's how I'm maintaining my 125-pound weight loss, which statistically is not very common. But what happens is that when we focus so much on staying on our plan during the event itself, or the vacation or party, when we come home, that is when most people are actually the most at risk for struggling and going off of their plan. So have you ever experienced this? I recently experienced this after the Brightest in Utah conference that we had in June. And I had been on the committee, and we had been planning and preparing for this event for months and months. We spent countless hours making it into this incredible event. I was asked to be the keynote speaker, which was so exciting for me. I had also planned for my daughter to have her birthday party that night after the conference, and we had invited 15 little 7-year-olds over to the house, and I had to run home and decorate and get all of that food ready and everything. So they had a blast, and we just let them loose in the backyard, and they had so much fun. But man, it was a crazy day. I prepped myself mentally for that crazy weekend, and I stayed on my plan that day, and I got through it. I was feeling so relieved that it was over, and then we went on a trip to Bryce Canyon just the day after, and I hadn't had any time to plan ahead or prepare for that trip like I usually would. So I just put all of the healthy food in my fridge into a cooler, and we just packed up the kids and we left, and it was a whirlwind, but it was so much fun. When we got to Bryce, we did some hikes. It was hot, and the kids were tired and crying and struggling, and they needed me to carry them on the hikes. And it was exhausting, and it was a perfect storm for me. I totally experienced that post-event collapse from finishing the conference and my girls' big party and my trip, and I was really caught off guard with all of these emotions from dealing with crying kids, and had zero willpower left to deal with it in a healthy way. And I binged on all of that healthy food that I put into the cooler for the trip, and I had a couple days of being off with my quantities. Our mistakes are really just opportunities to learn and to make our program stronger going forward. And what I learned was how post-event collapse is something that we really need to plan for and prepare for anytime we have a big event in our lives. Yes, we need to plan our food ahead of time and mentally prepare for any obstacles that we will face with the event itself. But we also need to plan ahead and prepare for re-entry, as they call it in Bright Line Eating. We need to plan for how we're going to support ourselves after the event. I've heard it said by some really successful, experienced people that do Bright Line Eating that planning for reentry really means planning ahead and prepping for how you'll support yourself for 3 days after the event. Have a gentle reentry. Some ways that I've seen my clients and my friends do this is to order groceries on the way home from a trip so that they can pick them up on the way home from the airport. I've also seen others meal prep their meals for after the trip, and they put them in the freezer so that when they get home, they can just grab those meals in the freezer instead of trying to prepare their food in that willpower depleted state. Maybe planning on ordering food out for the family for a few days after the trip could help. Writing down your food, writing down what you'll eat beforehand, and eating what you wrote down is just so important during this time. So what I plan on doing going forward is not only planning and prepping my food for the trip, but also for 3 days after the trip, when I get back to normal life and all of the laundry is piled up and I need to go to the grocery store and emails need to be answered and I have to catch up on work, right? Increasing our support after a trip or a big event and having a strong food plan is just as important as planning and preparing for the actual event. I hope that you can learn from my mistake and avoid that post-event collapse. I know that I learned a lot from that mistake, and I'm grateful for that experience because I know that I'm stronger now and I'll approach big events differently going forward. Don't be afraid of failure and making mistakes. We all do. The key to success is learning from our mistakes or the mistakes of others and adjusting your plan moving forward. Be unstoppable. You don't have to be perfect to be successful. You just have to stay in the game and not give up. Immediately course correct and just get right back on track and try again. That is how you overcome the all or nothing mentality and that perfectionism that can really sabotage you. A lot of self-compassion, getting back on track immediately, reaching out for support, and seeking the lesson. So you got this. I believe in you. Don't give up. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my Erin Hart Health Coaching YouTube channel and turn on the notifications bell so that you won't miss any of my videos. I love hearing from you in the comments. And you can also find me on social media at erinhart.healthcoaching. I share weekly videos and I post daily to educate and inspire you on your path toward a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. I hope that you have a great week. I'm cheering you on, and I will see you next time. Bye.